really.
Yeah, so we're on now. So, can you tell me when you were born?
September. Now, I'm going to tell you, you're not going to ask me questions.
Okay.
If that works better for you, whatever works for you.
Born September the 24th, 1922, in Jessamine County. And we lived on the place Daddy had. That's where I grew up. I was born in another house on up the way. And Daddy owned the place where you saw him live. And we moved there. And I didn't have anybody to play with, so I played around on the big rocks out there and jumped from one to the other, and I played in the barn, and I'd drag out stuff that wasn't any count and try to give it to Mama or Daddy one. And I always liked somebody to play with, but there wasn't anybody around. So everywhere Daddy went, I went. I don't know if I went to protect him, to take care of him, or I just wanted to go somewhere. I think that was it. I wanted to go someplace. If he went to Larkin Stover, I went with him. If he went anywhere else, I went. If he went up on the hill to work, up the other barn, I went with him, and I talked so much that the woman that lived on out the ridge said she knew when I was up there because she heard me talking. I probably asked Daddy so many questions, I'm surprised that he took me.
Where's Larkin's store?
Well, Larkin's store was...
Still there?
No, it's the one I showed you the picture of.
Oh, okay.
It was on around the road. I can't remember ever riding a horse up there with him to the store. But Harold can. He remembers riding a horse. I guess I refused to ride the horse. I wanted to ride in the car. But anyway, I went with him up there. And anywhere else he went. When he said, I'm going somewhere, I didn't wait to find out where it was. I just said, let me go with you.
So he had a car? Way
Yeah.
like that? Okay.
Yeah, he had a car before he married. I think Mom and Daddy married in 1920, and he had a car when he married, and they lived up in the other house, the little house, way on up the holler somewhere from where you saw Daddy live, and he had to leave his car up by the road, and they'd have to walk up there. And Daddy was so stout he could carry me and a 5-gallon can of cream up the hill.
Yeah.
And then when I got old enough to go to school, Mama thought it was too far and I was too little to go so far. So she said the next year I wasn't much bigger and it was just as far. It was 2 miles to school. And Daddy took me on a horse every day up to my uncle's and put me off there, and then I walked the rest of the way with all the other kids that was up in there. And then I'd walk back up there with them in the afternoon, and I'd stay at Uncle Thorburns until Daddy got through working, and then he'd come up on the horse and get me. And I don't know how old I was when he bought me a pony to ride to school. I guess when he thought I was big enough I could take care of it. And I had a white pony called her Snowball. And she was a good riding horse, but Daddy said I ruined her just letting her trot along. So I rode the pony to school then until we got buses, I guess. Jessamine County did not have school buses then. So a lot of times when it was cold, I didn't want to ride the pony. I wanted to walk. I always said it was too cold. I wanted to walk with the other kids, but there wasn't any kids till I got to walk with till I got halfway. And I had a good time. I went to school down at Little Hickman 8 years. And I had a good time with all the kids, and I still remember a lot of them.
How many kids were in school? How many kids were there, approximately?
I don't know. They would have probably been probably 7 or 8 in the first grade, and when I graduated from the 8th grade, I think there was 4.
But was it a bunch of grades all in one school?
I had 4 grades in one room, 4 grades in the other room. And now where Russell went to school, the whole 8 grades was in one room.
Was that around here too, or?
Well, it was in Jessamine County, but it was down on another road away from us. But I think Jessamine County got buses maybe when I was in the 7th or the 8th grade, I don't know which, and I can't remember if I ever rode the pony anywhere after that. Daddy used to want me to go to mill for him to get some corn ground, and he'd put some corn in his sack and throw it up across the pony, and I'd take it up about a mile up the road to the mill. And while I was getting my corn ground, I played with the other kids up there. And then the man would put the sack back up on the pony, and I'd take it home then. And then when I went to high school, of course, we had buses then. And some that had been out of the 8th grade for a while, but they didn't have any way to get to town to school. So some of them started about the time I did, or I believe the year before I did, to high school. I enjoyed high school. It was because I was seeing people every day, and I got to going home with Juanita and Lucille, her sister, a lot of times on the weekends, because there'd be more going on down that way than there was up our way. There wasn't anything going on up our way. So I went home with Juanita a lot. And we become good friends, and we still are today.
She's not related to you at all? Or?
She's my first cousin. Her mother and my daddy are brothers and sisters. And after I got out of high school, that was the lonesomest time of my life, I think, because we didn't have telephones, we didn't have electric, we didn't have any neighbors around close that had anybody my age, and you had no way of knowing what was going on down the road somewhere, that they might have been having something, but you wouldn't know it, or I didn't anyway. And it was a very lonesome time. So then I went to work in Lexington at the parachute factory. And I worked there, I don't know how long I worked there. And then, I don't know, I guess I didn't see Juanita that much then on the weekends. I wouldn't see her, but I'd go home on the weekends.
Did you have your own car, or did you
No.
Your dad's?
Daddy would take me to town on Sunday to get on the bus to go to Lexington, and I stayed up there.
Who'd you stay with up there?
I paid board up there with some people I knew. And
were they making parachutes for the war, or just?
yeah, they was making parachutes for the war, I think. And that factory went on for a long time. It was upstairs, and it was so hot up there when spring came that people couldn't hardly stay up there. And then, I don't know, I worked up there. And then I guess we lived down on the river a year. Well, I was on the river when I moved too. Also, I went to housekeeping at the farthest point in Jessamine County from the courthouse. And it was along down the river. It wasn't